was still dark when the scream echoed through the Ramsey house. Patsy Ramsey stood frozen at the bottom of the staircase, her heart pounding so hard, she later said she could hear it in her ears. In her hands was a piece of paper, not a letter, not a note, but 3 full pages of handwriting. A ransom note. Her hands shook as she read the words again, trying to make sense of them. They said her daughter had been taken. They demanded money. They warned her not to call police. And yet, somewhere deep inside her chest, panic overrode logic. She dialed 911. Within minutes, the house that had been filled with Christmas warmth the night before became something else entirely. A place of confusion, noise, movement, and irreversible mistakes. JonBenét Ramsey was 6 years old. She loved dancing barefoot around the house. She loved pageants because her mother cheered the loudest. Detective Linda Arndt was one of the few officers present. She later described feeling something was deeply wrong, a pressure she couldn't explain. She watched John Ramsey pace. She watched Patsy collapse in grief. She watched time pass with no phone call from kidnappers. Every minute felt heavier. Hours later, police asked John Ramsey and a family friend to search the house again, slowly, carefully. John walked to the basement. He opened a door he had already checked earlier. Inside, in a small storage room, he saw his daughter. JonBenét's body lay on the floor, bound, strangled, her skull fractured. The ransom note had never meant anything. She had never left the house. John carried her upstairs, instinct, shock, denial guiding him more than reason. In doing so, he unknowingly destroyed what little untouched evidence remained. It was the first of many near failures that would haunt this case forever. Investigators quickly realized this was not a simple crime. Why write a ransom note inside the home? Why 3 pages long? Why reference John's exact bonus amount? Why leave the body behind? Nothing aligned. The autopsy revealed JonBenét had suffered a severe head injury before being strangled. The timeline was unclear, the sequence uncertain. 2 methods, 1 victim, no clear explanation. The media arrived before answers did. Television trucks lined the street. Headlines speculated wildly. Every word the family spoke was dissected. Every pause became suspicious. Every emotion, or lack of it, was judged. The Ramseys were no longer just grieving parents. They were suspects in the court of public opinion. At the same time, police struggled internally. Jurisdictional confusion, limited experience with child homicides, and early contamination crippled the investigation. There were moments investigators believed they were close. A broken basement window suggested an intruder, until spiderwebs inside remained undisturbed. Footprints near the home raised alarms, until they couldn't be conclusively tied to anyone. Handwriting experts debated the ransom note, some ruling Patsy out, others unconvinced. Each lead promised clarity. Each one collapsed. Years later, DNA testing revealed unknown genetic material on JonBenét's clothing. It didn't match any family member. For some investigators, this was the breakthrough they had waited for. For others, it raised new questions. Was it proof of an intruder? Or contamination from manufacturing, handling, or the chaotic crime scene? Technology advanced. Answers did not. The Ramsey family lived under relentless suspicion. Burke grew up under a cloud he never chose. Patsy died of cancer, still defending her innocence. John continued pushing for renewed investigation long after public interest faded. No confession ever came. No suspect was ever charged. No truth ever fully emerged. And that may be the most disturbing part, because this case forces us to confront something deeply uncomfortable. That sometimes, even when the world is watching, even when evidence is collected, even when technology advances, justice still fails. JonBenét's story isn't just about a child taken too soon. It's about how chaos, fear, and human error can erase truth forever. It's about how a single morning can fracture reality. How a house can become a crime scene. How a mystery can survive decades without answers. And it's about the weight that never leaves. For investigators who almost solved it, for a family forever marked, and for a little girl whose voice was taken before she could ever explain what happened. Some cases end with arrests. Some end with justice. This one ends with silence. And that silence is why, even today, it still makes people question humanity itself.